We're here at round 3 of the Monster Energy Pro Downhill Series at Big Bear in Big Bear, California at Snow Summit. Pretty damn exciting to be here. I mean, this mountain and this venue is steeped in mountain bike history.
Huge history.
Yeah, so it's exciting to be here, and a lot of work went into it. And we're coming at you with a little bit of a different format today. We're going to catch up with some of the athletes and see what they have to say about this event, this venue.
Absolutely. So this is the first time that our company's done an event in California since the U.S. Open here in 2019. So there's a lot of anticipation for this. We're back. We're on the same track. We're on 10-ply. We've done some big updates. We're going to get Ryan Wormsbecker from the Trail Crew on here and talk with him in a minute too. But how about we just start right off with an athlete? Let's get some opinion. People, that's who they want to hear, not us, right? All right. So let's bring.
Let's hear from Austin.
Come on the couch.
What up, boys?
What's happening?
Is Austin's mic working?
Sweet. Let's go.
All right, so fantastic. Hey, you've been killing it this season, just putting down solid performance after solid performance here at Big Bear. You're probably feeling really comfortable. This is like hometown, right? So what are your thoughts on this weekend?
It's sick. I'm only like an hour down the hill, so it's cool to be kind of near my house and have family come up to watch the race. Should be sick on Sunday, and yeah, track's insane. So
speaking of the track, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Now, you've ridden this track before. You've ridden 10-ply a bunch here. When you showed up and did track walk yesterday, was your mind a little blown at how much they had changed everything?
Yeah, it's sick. Like, I've done 2 days here this year, and I feel like I know the track really well. And today it felt like I was learning a whole new track. Like, a couple new sections, some different tape, and yeah, always changing with the loose conditions and all the riders. So definitely doesn't feel like I have much of an advantage, and it's sick. I think you boys did a good job.
I'm sorry, but that definitely was our goal. So sorry, not sorry.
No, it's perfect. It's better
so,
racing.
How are you feeling on the track today? We heard a lot of people saying just how loose it was, because there's so many sections with you were the first tire tracks. I mean, quite literally, I met you on the track. You were the third person on this track this morning. So
it's changed a lot. I did 6 laps, and I feel like there were sections that were different every single lap. Just like ruts forming, then getting blown, then just going more inside, more outside. So it's so loose, and there's so many riders doing different things that it keeps you on your toes. And yeah, you got to just keep your eyes up.
Now, did you do a track walk today after practice?
No, I didn't do one today, but I'll probably do one tomorrow after seating before finals.
Gotcha. So one of the hallmarks of Pro Downhill Series is we try to have the amateurs be able to ride as much of the pro track as possible. And the way that some of these lines work, because we have one Cat 2-3 only lane that they have to go down, and they come back across the track. So I think that we're going to see not just the track. We love the way a track breaks down and the way it goes throughout the weekend, but I think we're going to see a different cadence in the way the track breaks down than you're used to. When you go to a race where you don't have so many amateurs on the same track with you. We heard some people that came off a track walk this afternoon saying that they had worked hard to create some high line ruts.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have to do that every day. Is there any particular section of the track that you think is going to be harder in that sense than others?
I think there's just a few loose, like, flat corners that is like the main key that are changing so much, like with the ruts coming in and then getting blown. I think just those are kind of the main issues, and just got to keep your eyes up for those sections. And besides that, I think all the rock garden should stay relatively similar. It's just those flat corners, I think, that are going to change a lot throughout the weekend.
I got one more track question for you.
Yeah.
Since you grew up around here and you've ridden this and you know this, and did you race the 2019 U.S. Open here with us? You did, right?
I did.
What is your thoughts on the new section, the new chute section? Is it hard to ride, easy to ride? How does it compare to what was there originally?
Are you talking about the one around the Caterpillar?
Correct, yeah.
I think that section is like one of the sickest sections. Like, you drop through, there's like some holes that are developed, and then you like hit the catch, hop high, and then it's like so fast through the next section. It's proper gnarly.
Lars, why don't you ask him? You want to ask him who he thinks is going to win?
Yeah, I mean, look, I hope you only have one answer to that question, so I'll kind of tweak the question a little bit. What are your thoughts? I mean, as an athlete, when some of the folks you're riding against are feeling strong, when things are clicking for them, but you're also on your own dirt. So what are your thoughts? Who do you think are going to be the people that, race run, you're going to be in your own, but who do you think is going to be putting down solid performances this weekend?
There's quite a few guys that are good out here, but I think Pinky He's local. Dante, Gwynny.
Interesting you said Pinky. Sorry to cut you off, but it was alarmingly fast first run.
For
Because
sure.
I was on the track. So when we opened the track, we had put a few new pads in that we wanted to watch, and you had helped us with that. So I was waiting to meet you on the track. And very first run, Pinky actually scared everybody. He came through. We were expecting some sight laps.
No.
I mean, he fourth gear pinned through a brand new section no one had ridden.
Exactly, wide open out of the gate.
I think he's trying to make a practice statement.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So what do you think of Gwyn showing up in racing?
It's sick. I stoked that he came back to California, and I think he had a really good national champ. So he'll be strong this weekend, as well as Dante, and there's a few other guys, I think. So it should be a battle on Sunday, I think.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think too, like all of you are good in this soil.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy.
Yeah, because we're all like around here.
Yeah.
When he was around here, Dante, Pinky, me, Tyler, Colin, all the boys are right here. So it's we all know it. Yeah. So roll the dice and see.
Yeah, well, we're super stoked to bring this event to your backyard.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
And excited to see you all throw down.
Yeah, I'm stoked to be here.
Sweet.
Can't wait to race.
Thank you for joining
Perfect.
us, and we'll see you
Appreciate
tomorrow
it.
for seating.
Perfect. See you boys tomorrow.
When we went on Facebook Marketplace to find this couch, I wish we had found like a L sectional instead.
It might be cool, but hey,
Maybe next time.
cozy. It's cozy.
All right, so we talked a lot about the track on that little quick interview with Austin there, and Austin's a pro racer. We didn't mention that in the beginning for anybody who doesn't know. But the other person we really want to speak to, because this track is so interesting and it's just blowing minds with the changes, I think we should jump to Ryan Wormsbecker, the track builder, next.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
You ready, Ryan? Now, he looks so good because we just gave him a brand new Monster Energy Pro Downhill shirt.
Hello.
So, full disclosure, Ryan is somewhat camera shy, but he's not at all. We're probably going to have to take the microphone away from him at the end of the interview, but let's see if we can get some words about the track. So, a little history. Ryan and I first started working together here at Snow Summit on the 10-ply track in like 2018 was the first time we walked it when we were getting ready to do, or sorry, it was spring of 2019. We were getting ready to build the trail for US Open 2019. We built it quickly. We got most of what we wanted out of it. It was a great race, but we left a lot of things we wanted to come back and change, right?
Yeah.
And we had a 3-year deal here. We couldn't hold the US Open in 2020 because of COVID, and then we couldn't hold it in 2021 because of the wildfires. And then it's been just, a little dash, like all of a sudden 5 years have gone by, right? Like it doesn't feel like it, but we're back. You and I started walking this track. It's been months. We were both on the same page from the beginning with a lot of the improvements we wanted to make. But I mean, I have to say that your team has exceeded every expectation I had for what we would do change-wise, both in quality and scale. Like some of the things that we changed, like the section Austin was just talking about, I asked, hey, can we get a little bit of a off-camber go around here? Now we have a massive section with a catch and like a real crowd-pleasing section that I think is going to be packed on race day. What do you think about the track? How do you feel about it? Is there anything that stands out to you specifically?
Yeah, it's been 5 years in the making. So the year after you left, we went back in, built a bunch of jumps, made the traverse more fun, more flowy, just to be cut out by wildfires and everything else that's happened. So we've had some time to work on this thing. And then for this whole summer, all these changes have been incredible. And watching them change in one day too is pretty wild.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, and we had a lot of challenges today with first day in practice, the poles blowing out, all sorts of stuff like that. Just getting used to all this fresh soil, like we have so much fresh sections in this, which is great for the riders. It's a little tough for us with course markings, but I think the part of the track besides that new chute that everyone wants to talk about is, from the top of chair 8 down. Why don't you walk us through a little bit of what's there and give us your impression?
Well, every year we do something down here in the base area, so it's very familiar for us to be working out here in the sun. This is obviously a lot of less of a lift than a slalom course, although we miss slalom. Long live slalom. We'll race slalom again soon. But it was mellow. The whoops are sick. They're my favorite part of the whole track, I think.
So, and the way the whoops came together, Lars, is we were just walking, we're like, I just offhandedly said, man, it'd be really sick. We've never put whoops this close to a finish line. We're in a place where everybody can see them. Like at Mountain Creek, it's a great section of the track, but it's up the hill. And I kind of said it half joking, and then these guys took the ball and ran with it. And then they asked me for dimensions, and I was like, it'd be cool if you could get like a 6-pack or something in here. When I come back, and they have just this like runway of whoops, and it's packed like concrete. So hopefully they'll hold together throughout the.
It's been really cool just listening to a lot of the riders. I mean, they're just like, these are proper whoops, you know, and you can't rhythm them. You can't really like just find a flow through it. Some guys are just sending it in and then trying to skim. Some guys are just skimming from the start.
Sure.
Proper whoops. So it's really cool to see that.
Yeah, they seem like they get a little bit harder as you get down them.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the slow-mo watching the kids' bikes work through there. It's been incredible.
Yeah, it's really good. The thing that stands out the most to me is now after a full day of riding under our belt, I can't even begin to count the number of positive comments my team has gotten. You know, people coming by our registration tent here and the trailer here, and I think that a lot of SoCal locals just can't believe that, you know, they're getting a real racetrack here again, right? Like it's you've built something that people coming from foreign lands like, and people right in your backyard are blown away. So
Yeah, I think that whole part of tricking the people that ride here a lot, and they think they have the trail dialed, and then show up to these big changes it's been fun to see everybody's face like, oh crap, what's this?
It's fun to like some of the track markings too, right? Like we made some real jerk moves, right? Like we made some spots harder, you know, like you know, because there's certain sections of the track. It's a trail that 365 is a regular bike park trail, so we have to build a track out of it. You know, we just really appreciate everything your team's brought to the table on. It's been incredible.
Yeah, big time. And, you know, talking to some of the riders this morning, locals, they're said the same thing Austin said. Like, I don't really feel like I have that much of an advantage, obviously, to the dirt. And just speaking for myself, I raced here probably a dozen times in the late 90s, early 2000s. The Norbas, the World Cup, I think it was 99 you had here. And, you know, I always kind of had a picture of Big Bear. You know, it's a little less technical, kind of a lot of blue groove. And I came and walked the course this morning, and I was blown away, man. Like, you guys just knocked it out of the park, and the sentiment's been just unanimous across the board. So,
Great.
Really pumped for what you did.
Actually, we have heard from a few East Coasters. It's definitely a challenge. The dirt,
A little dusty.
Yeah,
Huh?
it's dusty. It's a challenge. So, you know, it's not. You know, it's a great track, but it is not easy. You know, it's just right. I think it's absolutely perfect. Everybody, all categories can find a safe way down, but you can really ramp up the speed. I think we're going to see an extremely tight pro race. I think that the times are going to be hundredths off on Sunday, which will make it really good as we watch, you know, the hot seat and the ceremony unfold in the corral. So
Sick, man.
you're going to be standing right there?
No, I'll probably be fixing down poles.
Yeah, you're probably
on the course
fixing
somewhere.
tape. Well, thank you so much for everything
Yeah,
you've
boys.
done.
Appreciate it.
Right on.
And
Thanks
we'll
for bringing
see you.
everyone to town.
No problem. We'll see you, 6:45 tomorrow
Yeah, see you in the morning.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. All right, Clay, who do you want to talk to next?
Well, we got some athletes standing by. I think we should go with points leader, huh? Want to bring in Aletha?
Sure. Absolutely.
Aletha
Pro
was
women's.
home ready to eat dinner and got back on her bike and pedaled up here to chat with us. Come on in.
Come on in.
Come on into the trailer studio.
It's actually pretty comfy in here.
It's not so bad.
It keeps the wind kind of nice and warm.
Yeah.
We're not joking. Zach went and got this. He hit Facebook Marketplace, found a couch within half a mile here, and they took my truck to go and get it. So this
Hey,
is
it works.
This
It's
is
honestly
a
comfy.
yeah. This is a on the fly plan. We normally record these, you know, in our studio at home before, but between travel, I've been national champs then to here and all over, and Lars was up and checking out Mammoth, and we just didn't have time to get together. And a couple hours ago, we decided to do this.
Seems like it's worked out.
So thanks for taking some time away from dinner and recovery, and good to see you again.
Yeah, it's good to see you too.
Yep. And so what do you think? I mean, it is a straight up battle right now to hold on to that points lead. So you're now on the West Coast, different environment, different dirt, right? I think you're probably
100%.
used to it, but it's different. And is your mindset different coming in?
I'd say my mindset stays pretty consistent. I feel like that's probably one of my things that I like about myself is I can stay pretty consistent. The dirt, the only way I can describe it, it's like riding mud, but in the dry.
It's dry mud.
It's dry mud. Yep, 100%. It's like super loose in corners, and you just gotta treat it like you would mud. Otherwise, I'm loving it.
Well, yeah, you don't have a lot. I mean, I guess sometimes up in the Northwest it gets dusty, but not the level of like talcum powder here. I mean, your tire's sinking in it here.
Where I live, I get like moon dust.
You do?
max.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you do have a
I'm
good advantage.
Central Washington, so I'm like High Plains desert, stuff like that. So I do get the dry, but I do ride mostly mud or like primo conditions. But I do all around, I feel like.
Got it. So you felt good on track today? Like
I really liked it.
you did?
Yeah.
Do you think that this track surprised you after track walk with the speeds? I think that one sentiment we heard from a lot of riders today was they weren't anticipating the kind of speeds we're seeing out of some of the sections.
100%. I was like, this is going to be based off sprinting. And then you get going, and it's like you're at such high speed already that you're like, ooh, I don't know if I need to pedal anymore. I don't want to come into this too
so
quick.
would you say this track actually is not a lot of pedaling?
I'd say it's got like a good amount, but it's like just enough where it's like, okay, I can't push too hard here, but at the same time, it's like I'm such high speed that I almost don't want to pedal.
I never want to pedal, so I'm with you. It's fine.
I'm kind of with you on that, but at the same time, it's with the sport.
Absolutely. I have my kids are doing their first downhill race here this weekend, and they're East Coast boys. And I said the same thing. It's going to be all about keeping it smooth and not overcooking things. And you're going to want to sprint, but then you got these really loose corners. I
100%.
think posted today, I believe, was your GoPro.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I wanted
The
to ask about
GoPro
that.
footage, and some of your commentary is kind of funny. You know, it's just you can hear what's going through your mind as you're riding the course.
Yeah, and so just so everybody understands, and that's on our YouTube channel. Go check it out. She did a course preview with her sister Taylor. How do you decide which one of you rides first, and do you ever argue over these things?
No, not really. You kind of just like, she's taught me everything I know about riding. You kind of just like go in a flow where you kind of either I step forward or she steps forward. We're usually pretty easy about it. But this one was pretty good because she from the back looks a lot smoother when she rides. So like it's kind of nice to be like, hey, look at her while she rides. She's really smooth here. And she does phenomenal in this type of riding. Like this is her strong suit. Like that high speed go. That's what she does good in. I'm a little more chaotic in this stuff. But no, usually we don't fight about it. But the commentary was, I actually talk a lot while I ride, and people do not expect it.
Do you talk that much when you aren't doing a course preview?
Kind of.
You talk
pretty
while
much.
you're riding.
I do. I'll have like a headphone in here and there. I love singing while I ride.
Interesting.
It's-
So when you're
Yep.
standing on the side of the track, listen for that.
Yep.
Sweet. So what do you think? We get a prediction?
It's gonna be a tight race, 100%. Like you got Kaylee, Jill, Eris, and we're all just gonna be really tight. Because if we're tight at a course that's like 100%, you got tech sections and it's testing every ability. This is like all based off speed and like how much you can hold. It's gonna be so tight. It's gonna be a true race, 100%.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I think we're going to be in for some exciting action in the pro women's category.
You're going to be standing in the corral trying to call it. So
Yep.
hope you're ready for it.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, so should we hear from Eris? She's sitting out here and
Yeah, let's jump. I mean, the points race here, right? Yeah.
yeah,
let's,
it's
Yep.
a points
Yep.
race. And hey, good luck.
you.
We'll all be cheering for all of you. We can't call favorites, but we'll be cheering.
we cheer
all
for
of you.
whoever's on track at the time.
Yeah,
That's fair.
So good luck this weekend.
Thank
Some
you.
luck.
Thank you.
Sweet. Thank you.
All right, so why don't we catch up with Eris, the current junior world champion, now racing in the elite category here in the Pro Downhill Series. And
Absolutely. Hey,
how are you? Good to see you.
Welcome.
Coming all the way from New Zealand.
welcome to the couch.
Yeah. Well, yeah, true.
From New Zealand by way of Europe.
Yeah, from exactly. And,
Did you have a layover in New Jersey for a minute or straight here?
I was in actually Whistler for a while.
Oh, you
So I
went up
flew
there.
out of
and came back.
Vancouver
Yep.
and to LA.
By the way, impressive with the whips. Just got to throw that out there.
Thank you.
Like that was really impressive. I think that you gained a lot of fans with that move.
Thank you.
doubt.
Appreciate
No
it.
doubt.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, as a rider, you know, I think there's a lot of folks that just appreciate and respect someone that can go fast from point A to point B. But then when someone throws some steez in there and just makes it look so good, it's like, all right.
What was it
Whole
like?
nother
Well, what was it like riding in the? So in the best whip contest, or well, what do they call it? Crankworks Whip Off. What is it called this year?
I think it was like Whip Off World Championships.
Whip Off World
actually.
Champions. Oh,
Yeah.
No, Whip Off World Champions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's give them the right name. So how was that?
It was really fun.
More fun than racing?
It's a different fun.
Yeah.
Like there's no pressure, but you kind of have a nervous for like the first hit of the jump because it's a fresh jump. It's quite big.
Is that
but-
the biggest jump that you've hit?
I think I've hit I think Dream in Queenstown's probably.
You ride the
slightly
whole
bigger.
Dream line?
I've just run the first 6 jumps. Yeah.
Got it. That
Yeah.
set looks pretty scary. So yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fun though. Yeah. But no, just like it's just a lot of fun with no pressure, just hitting jumps with cool people.
Well, while we're talking about that, you're going to enter. Well, I guess it's invite only. Would you accept an invite to the U.S. Open Best Whip this year?
Totally.
All right.
Yeah, totally.
Love to see that. So,
That'd be sick.
let's talk about some racing. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what we're here for. So,
Yeah, so we heard Allie talk a little bit about Jill and Kelly. I was on the course this morning, walking and just kind of listening and observing, and Kelly seemed really happy. She's like, this is the sickest course I've ridden in a long time. She feels really happy. And then you've got Jill Kintner, who has a pedigree that speaks for itself. I mean, it's ridiculously impressive, not just in mountain biking. I mean, she was an Olympian BMX medalist as well. So this is who you're competing with this weekend. Do you think about that at all? I mean, or are you just so focused? Because I've only been watching you ride for a short period of time, and you always just seem so focused on doing you. Do these competitors with these pedigrees, do they get into your head at all?
I mean, to be honest, I like no matter what race it is or event, I'm pretty focused on myself. I think that's like one of the things I'm kind of proud about, like my mentality in racing. I don't really think about others. Like at the end of the day, the race is what like your race result is going to be how you ride, not how others ride.
100%.
And you can't control what others do. I mean, I just ride and enjoy my run and talk with the girls and see how they're going, and I don't know, just make a fun weekend out of it and ride my best. Yeah.
So, well, we've been talking about the terrain a lot. What's your take on this, and how does this terrain compare to, what you're used to? It's definitely different. It's a little different here than a lot of other places.
Yeah, at home we never really get dust like that thick the whole way down the track. Maybe in Rotorua, like if it was a super dry, I don't know, month or two, we get pretty dusty, but there's always those patches you can trust and push against. So here there's not really any spots you can fully trust.
Did you keep it up in practice, or did you hit the deck at all in practice?
Yeah,
we saw a lot of people come down with elbows and shoulders covered in dust, a lot of slide outs, so I was curious.
Yeah, I kept it up. Today I wasn't really pushing very hard. I was just kind of getting to know the track because I've never ridden in Cali or let alone this track before. So, just kind of feeling out the conditions and just testing with different settings on my bike. And, yeah.
So, but just after one day of practice, think you got it in you to take the points lead?
I mean, I'll give it my best bet. It's a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, so you're having
that's
fun on the track.
Yeah.
That's what we've been hearing from everybody, which I suppose, if you're having fun, you're going to race good.
Yeah, I think it's just, there's a few flat corners which will probably be the key, I reckon, to the track, because they also, a few of them end up in a bit of a flatter section, so holding that speed will be pretty key.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
I don't think I could race this track, so I don't even know. I'm from the East Coast. I fall walking on this stuff, so.
To be honest, I did fall over in track walk.
There was a lot of people on their butt in track walk, I think, because so many new sections that weren't packed in at all. So, do you think that this track is just one final thought on the track? Would you classify it as a pretty easy track to ride, but once you get up to the pace, it starts to really come onto its own and starts to present its challenges?
Yeah, totally. And I think we'll see how the track evolves, but I think the ruts will be quite wide, but it'll just be a dust pile the whole way down. So I'm pretty sure pushing the limits, you'll have to be really careful with the front wheel not sliding out most of the way down the track.
Definitely. Yeah. Are you asking some of the local West Coast riders for advice, or are you just not even going there?
I'm not really going there. I've ridden dust before, and I get different opinions from different people. So
yeah, I'd be careful. I'd be careful with these SoCal opinions.
So Last question. In the whoops, are you sending it into them, or are you just trying to skim from the start?
I'm just skimming. Yeah. I
That's-
feel like
that's the key.
if I jump in, I might get stuck. Or if you keep it skimming, you keep it stable. And
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's keep this moving. Let's get you to dinner.
Yeah,
Everybody
sweet.
wants to get moving on and get ready for seating tomorrow. So
Yeah.
thank you for jumping on the couch with us.
so good.
And
Joining us.
good luck tomorrow. We'll
Thank
see you in the
very
corral.
much. Sweet. Thanks, guys.
All right. So I think that the key is just the dust, the track. Everybody's just kind of taking in. I wonder if by the time we get to Sunday, though, the conversation will be more about the competition between the riders and less about taking in this new track. So
It's possible. I mean, it's definitely a challenging type of track.
but I think what I'm getting at though is like, at what point does ego come into play? And I'm kind of lining up for something here.
I don't know why. Do you think that?
I think we should maybe move on to our next guest and see how ego. What does ego do for you on the racetrack?
It's a good question. Why don't we call up our next guest?
Also a points leader.
Also a points leader, and also not from California.
Also not from California. Also not easily intimidated.
No, I mean, he's out there doing calisthenics and stretching. I wish there was a camera behind the camera because it's pretty damn entertaining. He went through the effort of color matching his shoes with his shorts, and he's out there boxing.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get him in here before his head actually explodes. Come on in here. This is Jack Sinoni, points leader of the 17-18 Cat 1 group. Welcome to the couch.
Good to see you.
Good to be here. First of all, I just want to say it's a pleasure to be on. So
Yeah. Well, thank you for having us.
thank you for having me.
I hope somebody got the behind the scenes warm up because that was.
I'm
special.
fairly certain. I see his sister out there with the camera. I'm pretty sure they didn't miss that.
I take my media just as seriously as I take my racing. So, you got to do what you got to do.
Got it. All right. So, we've spoken a bunch about your Mountain Creek race without getting to interview you. So, why don't you, before we jump into this race, a lot of people, there's a photo going around. Look like you're in the gym, not in the finish corral, and I think that it's almost if people didn't see it in real life, they don't understand why you are absolutely flexing in the finish corral there. Why don't you just tell us what that last win meant to you, because you seem pretty excited.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mountain Creek is obviously my local spot, so I was stoked to go out there and represent. Had a pretty big crash in practice on Friday on that race weekend, and honestly didn't think I was going to be able to perform that weekend. And then, got in the ice bath, did some hours in there. Saturday came around, first in seating. I was on a high. Then Sunday came around, put down the race run of a lifetime. I mean, I was just like edging a crash the whole time. It was.
I mean, you said when you came across the finish line, I can't remember your exact words, but it was something along the lines of you almost couldn't believe it, that you rode that limit. But you didn't look out of control. I don't endorse out of control racing ever, and you did not look out of control at all. You looked very composed. And my question to you was, and so I'll back up a second. So Nico Mullally, good personal friend of mine, and he tells me that when you are going to win, you know it when you wake up that morning. Like, did you feel it that morning? Like, because your presence, we'll call it, on the racetrack that day was crazy.
I mean, for sure. I mean, I woke up that morning, super confident, had my mom make me breakfast. So, that's always gets me in a pretty good mood to go race. And then, the whole day just mentally getting into that zone. I mean, I think it starts as soon as you wake up. You have to just always be prepared for what you're going to be doing that day. So, obviously, just thinking, memorizing lines, memorizing, different parts of the track that could be changing throughout the day. And then finally, once you go up for your run, you just have to be ready to, lay it down and just kind of take it as it goes. Not everything's going to be perfect, but clean up as much as possible and then go for the win,
Well, I got to say, I think it was so far, we're halfway through the season, starting the second half of the season this weekend, and I would say that was one of the high points of the first half of the season for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, even for me, I think that was my third race of the season for me, and first two races went pretty good, but I'm on a new team and stuff, newly built team, and it's stoked to be, I guess creating a legacy. So obviously wanted to throw it down for me and also my family's team, so we can really show the world what ZFR is all about.
Yeah, it's been really cool seeing you guys put that together and just that family unit's kind of like I think we talked a little bit about this the last time. It's reminiscent to me of the Athertons, So we'll hope that you all put down careers that can be comparable, rivalable, or maybe rivalable, maybe, or even better, right? So it's really cool to see
Equal.
What you guys are doing. Yeah, can rival what they've done. Yeah, whatever. Equal.
Hope you have a good career.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Thank you.
It's killer to see that. Now you're on the West Coast. The dirt's real different. But you came here with the stoke. Like, the stoke is strong. I can see the energy is strong.
You're also one of the first people to show up at this venue.
Really?
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, well, yeah, actually, I remember.
Yeah, you were here days early. Is that just so you could get some soil samples?
I showed up to my grandparents' house actually in Arizona and played golf for a few days. And most people get upset when they play golf because they shoot pretty poorly. I, on the other hand, was absolutely on fire. Still got beat by my brother because he's pretty good. But got loosened up there, grabbed the minivan, drove over here, got here a few days early, as Clay said, and then was able to get used to a bit the elevation. And then I took one lap on one of the trails, and it was so dry, and I was so close to crashing the whole time. I would put my bike away, and I was like, let me just wait for the racetrack, and hopefully I'll just stay off the ground for as long as possible.
Well, I'll tell you, what a smart move, though, getting up here for the elevation early. I think most East Coast racers had no idea what they were in for until they got up here. I think people underestimate the elevation in Big Bear.
Oh, 100%. I actually, first time I noticed it, I walked up to take a quick look at the track. I was counting the whoops, and before I even counted to 10, I was out of breath. So that right there hit me, and I was like, dude, that's unbelievable.
We're looking forward to seeing what you have to offer this weekend, and I'm psyched to see a fellow New Jersey athlete out, and you're currently holding on to the points lead. It's tight, so ride tight. But,
100%.
I saw you come down from track walk today with Max. So let's talk about that. You guys share lines, because at the Mountain Creek race, that was a pretty good rivalry. There was not a lot of love on that hot seat when you knocked him off there, which is understandable. That was an intense race.
Listen, Max is a great kid. I know him personally. I ride with him. Even in Europe, I was ripping some Morzine steeps with Max. But at the end of the day, we're here to race. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to win. So I think it's ultimately all about throwing it down and not really having any sympathy for anyone else. It's a cutthroat sport. That's what you got to do, though.
Totally understandable. Sweet. Well, thanks for bringing that kind of attitude to the couch.
100%.
We want to see you out there tomorrow bright and early, so let's not keep you too late tonight.
Thank you, Lars. Thank you, Clay. Thank you. Right on.
That was everything I was hoping for.
Yeah, you gotta love the personality, and it's
we need more of it.
The coming here, he's not coming to make friends, but he's gonna be smiling. So.
Well, yeah, the kid is always smiling, but also a big thing that came together for me was I couldn't understand why ZFR made golf shirts as their team shirts, but I guess now it makes sense. The whole team plays golf, so perfect. Yeah. All right, so who do we got left to talk to? I think is Nick Frazier in the house still? This is one last special one we wanted to do.
Yeah, absolutely. This category in and of itself is insane. This
is my favorite. I'm biased, but Cat 1, 15, 16 is my favorite category to watch. These kids are on fire. Come on in, Nick. This is a special East Coast interview here, too.
Yeah, Cat 1.
All right, well, hold on. Let's introduce him. Okay. We got Nick Frazier on the couch.
Yep.
Where are you from?
I'm from Connecticut. So.
First time in California?
Yeah. Looks pretty good out here. Track's pretty good. Stoked to get racing.
Excellent. So, Nick, we saw a couple strong performances out of you last year, and then at the U.S. Open, you basically showed up and just got completely upside down and backwards in the whip off. And I think that's where you kind of...
I think that was when the world got introduced to Nick Frazier.
That was when the world got introduced to Nick Frazier. And now here you are, less than a year later, and the battle in your category is insane. there's 4 of you sitting.
Are you aware of how tight the race
one
is?
point apart from one another.
Yeah, it's
4
tight
of you
racing with
guys.
all of us,
Yeah, and you're all throwing down times that.
Where's
are
that
putting
sheet?
you
Where's the
in
sheet?
the
Let's
top
get this
10 in the
right.
pro
I don't want
class.
to. I don't want to say this wrong. It's somewhere in the couch. Is it down in the couch?
It's
Where's
one
it?
of those sheets, but
You keep interviewing. I'll find this.
Yeah,
We
while
wanna
you're
talk about
pulling
this.
it
So
up,
here we go. I found it. All right. So this is what's crazy. Is we have Cohen Bundy and Alex Mallon both tied at 91 points, and then Nick Frazier and Cash Shalene tied at 90. So, and all 4 of you are ringers. Like there's no terrain we could put you on that I could ever even pick who would win. It's insane how tight this is. I think that we had talked about in the beginning of the season how this was going to be the most exciting category, and it's like boom, here we are. It is,
Yeah.
And it's funny to take a little side note. So the reason that I picked you for this interview when we were looking out across the crowd today was, and this is something I wanted to hit on. I think it's interesting, something people don't know about you, but there was a ton of chatter in the paddock and around today about the way you were riding the final section of the track. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I heard some big name pros talking about how you were riding that. And what I'm talking about is, I guess that you were throwing some pretty crazy lookbacks on the first jump into the finish zone here, and then roasting the berm, and then all back tire through the whoops. And I don't think anybody else pulled that today. Now, your background's in moto.
Yep.
Do you think that gives you an advantage on this track, especially the bottom part?
Definitely the bottom. The top is the top's pretty similar, but the middle with all those rock gardens and stuff, it's quite a bit different, but I'm feeling really good. Feels pretty moto to me, and I love the bottom section.
Nice. Are you finding traction out there?
It's pretty hard to find traction, but I'm somehow getting it.
You're just drifting?
Yeah. Just trying to hook those dust ruts.
So, coming into this, obviously, we just talked about how tight you all are.
Yeah.
And are you in a place now where you're thinking, all right, kind of want to take the overall, or are you still going one race at a time? Because every athlete has a different approach. Like, what's yours?
Yeah, it's really kind of one race at a time, but also like you want to get that overall. So it's really tight racing right now. So honestly, every race counts for the overall. So pretty much just throw down every race, make everything count.
And what's the mechanics like between and we just said the top 4 who are tied basically for first and second kind of on paper. I mean, you go down that list like just all the way down to 10th place, and even after that, it's anybody. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Are we starting to see some rivalries form in that? I know you guys all hang out together. I see you literally sharing a Saran, riding around together.
Yeah.
Like you guys are the 15-16 Cat 1 group is such a great group of kids. You guys are all friends, but like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you want to win. So,
Oh yeah.
So I know there was a little bit of heat with the number on your back for a while, right? Because like
Yep.
you had a moto number, you brought over 36. Cash, his number from racing, side by sides was 36 or whatever it was, and you guys had this thing. Do you find that when you're at the races that the competition in your class is another thing you have to overcome? Like, do you find that there's a mental game going on since you 4, 5, 6 are all so equal in the gate?
Yeah, I think it's a lot like we're friends off the track, kind of get on track, and it's totally different. Like you see him at the start gate, and you're like, I just want to beat him. Like
I love the shit talking in
Yeah.
this group. In this group, you're beating. I mean, no one is beating Jacksononi in shit talking, but it's really impressive the way that you all are. You're like ripping on each other, and you want to win. But then every time I roll through the pits, you're all hanging out and high fiving and relaxing together. It's really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So, this might be a little bit of a provocative question, but if there's a dude in your category that is going to win and it's not you,
Oh, good question.
who would you be like, all right, I'm kind of all right with that? Never fully all right,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of like, that's cool. And if there's a dude in your category that's going to win and it's not you, who's going to piss you off?
Good question.
Who's gonna make me mad if they win?
Yeah.
Oh,
And it could be like your best friend, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like one of those ones where for some reason you just want to, you always have that person. You just want
To
to
some degree, every single person in your group could agree that Kai Burleson would be the one that would make you the most mad.
yeah, it's got to be Kai. It's got to
No,
be
but for
Kai.
real, let's hear your answer on it.
Honestly, I don't really care who wins. I just want to go out there and have fun. But really, it's so tight racing that like whoever makes a mistake or whatever pretty much doesn't have a chance. So I don't know who would beat me. Would probably be anybody on the West Coast. I don't like the West Coast people when they beat me. When they beat me, I'm like, oh, but yeah, pretty much anybody on the West Coast. So I wouldn't mind if it was an East Coast kid that beat me.
Nice.
That's cool. I dig it, and it's a cool way to answer the question and keep it pro. So
Yeah.
well done.
Absolutely. I think that's a great way to end these interviews. So
Yeah.
we appreciate having you on the couch. I know you had
Yeah,
no idea that we
appreciate
were
it.
going to do this, just pull you in here like this. But
Yeah.
again, your group is awesome. So like, keep it up, keep the rivalries going, keep the friendships going. The Cat 1 15, 16 kids. I mean, this is going to be your series. You're taking over this thing. So
Oh, for sure.
don't stop.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time, man. Good luck this
Nice.
weekend.
Thank you. Nice being here.
All right, so I think we probably ought to wrap this up. And I guess, there's a couple like laundry list items we didn't do in the beginning. We just jumped right in it. So first of all, big thank you to Monster. We're right in Monster's backyard for the first time. And it's been really cool. The pits here are awesome. We got the Monster patio and lounge. We got big semi truck, a ton of branding, like some really cool stuff going on there. Also in Fox's backyard, another huge partner of ours, we have a bunch of people from Fox on track today. When the global marketing director from Fox is riding the track, that's pretty good. And having the dirt in his teeth and grin ear to ear, that's good. We also, I guess, should give a big shout out to Visit Big Bear. So Visit Big Bear is the tourism bureau in Big Bear, and they are the basically the backbone of this event. We started a relationship with them back in 2019. They love having us here. They love bringing this community of racers into town. As you mentioned at the beginning, back in, 90s and 2000s, this was one of the birthplaces of downhill mountain biking.
It really was. It was so nostalgic driving in. The town kind of still has that cool mountain vibe. And then pulling up Summit Road, and then the first thing I see is a Monster semi. And I'm like, the last race I came to here, there were semis in the pits. It just was really cool. And
when you walk through the pits, I mean, this is one of the most impressive U.S. race pit scenes I've seen in a minute.
Absolutely.
Like, where do you think? I mean, this is a question I want to ask you. So you raced those big Norba races and World Cup races here back. A lot of shifts in the industry, and like the geography shifts, and sometimes events don't come back. Right now it's mostly European with those series. What do you feel? Do you feel as though we're on the right track to be heading back to that era again?
100%. We've seen in a lot of other sports, just take skateboarding as an analog, like grandpas skated. Right? So it's not just parents getting their kids into the thing that they like to do. You got grandparents getting their grandkids into the things that they like to do. And we're starting to kind of get to that time frame with mountain biking. And you can see it with the talent pool in like who we were just, the young guns we're just talking to. You can see it. Like some of the fastest kids on the mountain right now are 15 to 18 years old.
I mean, we're building the series for those kids. It's something
100%.
we've never been shy about. We love having the pro racing. Obviously, we cater everything starts with those pros for how we build this. But we know that what we're doing this for is that the 15, 16, and the 13, 14 group on both the boys and the girls side. It's impressive, but that doesn't have it doesn't have a lot of commercialism to it. That's really the youth, which is good. I'm just really happy that we are seeing the brands come back, and we're seeing these pit build outs, and we're seeing people having a good time at these races with animation and some of the things we haven't seen in a minute. So I think this is going to be a pretty important event for us as a series. And I think that the fact that we are once again bringing something big to the West Coast is probably going to send a wave. So I think we need more West Coast events.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
And that was actually a direct comment to a bunch of Instagram haters. Right, remember when we announced the series, right? How much hate did we get? We need more West Coast events. Well, here we are. We're blowing this event up. It's huge. We couldn't be happier to be here. The crowd loves it. The track is good. If you're in Southern California, hopefully we see you this weekend. If not, I hope you watch all this on YouTube this week.
Absolutely. And one more just group of individuals to thank is you and the entire team you've assembled.
Well, yeah, let's thank the team.
It's world class. I mean, But your vision and the way you get everyone behind it, I think it's been paramount to the success of this. And I know we're like, you're just getting started. So
circus conductor, not a boss.
Hey.
But we have an amazing team. Like, and just so everybody knows, most of the people working on this race have traveled across the country to do this. And which is pretty wild. A short time ago, we didn't have the funding as a series. We didn't have the brands behind us to make that possible. So, like, again, like Monster, Fox, Continental, huge shout out to Continental for bringing, so much power to this series this year. And then Thule and GoPro and SR Sun Tour. The whole shot is going to be so sick. We didn't even talk about that. The SR Sun Tour whole shot. We'll talk about that in the post-race podcast.
It's going to be tight this time.
Well, it's going to be wild, too, because we haven't had a wide-open one like that. I mean, this is wide open. I honestly, we should have a radar gun at this one.
And altitude, right? You're going to be managing not blowing up.
Yeah, and one more, well, luckily for the whole shot, maybe you can make it before you blow it. And one more shout out to Yoshimura. So Yoshimura has joined the series for the second half, come on as a partner. And what I love about that brand is when we bring them to an event, they're the epicenter. I mean, we have Jet Lawrence's bike on display out here, his 250 on display out here, right? Is it 250 or 450? 250. His 250 on display out here. So, like, things that we just didn't, like, a very short time ago, we didn't think we had this much power and animation behind the series, and just all of a sudden, like, everybody's here for it. So this is the event. It's really going to be sick to go from this to U.S. Open.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. So should probably wrap it up. And
well, it's dark outside of our trailer studio. We're looking at a beautiful California sunset over Big Bear Lake right now, which is sick. And our entire crew sitting here staring at us waiting for dinner.
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Don't leave me hanging. Let's go.
All right.